The first time I noticed the way my wife's boss hovered a little too close to her at the office party, I convinced myself it was harmless. He laughed louder than anyone else at her jokes, brushed her arm as if it was natural, and tried to monopolize her attention while everyone else mingled. At first, I told myself not to overthink it, but as the evening wore on, it became impossible to ignore. He wasn't simply being sociable. He was openly flirting. I could see my wife's discomfort in her polite, restrained smile, yet instead of backing off, he became bolder. From across the room, I stayed quiet, giving her space to handle it on her own. But the longer I watched, the hotter the anger burned inside me. He praised her dress, leaned in to whisper something that made her shift away, and still refused to stop. Her forced politeness didn't disguise that she wanted an escape. That was the moment I decided I couldn't just let it slide. Later that night, I walked over and slipped my arm around her shoulders, making my presence clear. He looked at me, smirked, and said with smug arrogance, "You've got a charming wife." His tone suggested he believed he could say anything without consequence. I smiled back, hiding the storm boiling in my chest. On the way home, my wife admitted just how uncomfortable he had made her. She explained that she'd tried to remain professional, but his advances had become too obvious to dismiss. That was all I needed. I promised her I would handle it my way. The following morning, I began putting my plan into motion. I knew exactly what mattered most to a man like him: his reputation. He thrived on authority and the respect that came with it. If I wanted to take him down, I needed to strike at the image he had carefully built. Quietly, I started gathering proof. I spoke discreetly with a few of his employees, asking about his behavior. Unsurprisingly, it turned out he had a pattern. My wife wasn't the first. Others had tolerated his unwanted advances in silence, fearing for their jobs. That knowledge only strengthened my resolve. This wasn't just about defending my wife, it was about stopping a predator. At the next company event, I made sure to be prepared. With careful timing, I recorded him once again leaning too close, making inappropriate remarks no superior should say to a subordinate, and ignoring the discomfort etched clearly on her face. The evidence was undeniable. I finally had what I needed. Instead of confronting him head-on, I went straight to the company's board of directors. I laid everything out: the recordings, the testimonies, the pattern of misconduct. It didn't take long for them to realize how dangerous it would be to stay silent. His arrogance had finally trapped him. The fallout was swift. Within weeks, my wife's boss was forced to resign for misconduct. His reputation, once the foundation of his power, collapsed overnight. People whispered about what happened, but outside of the boardroom, no one knew who had truly orchestrated his downfall. My wife felt an immense sense of relief. She thanked me, though I told her it was never just about revenge. It was about protecting her dignity and making sure no one else had to endure what she did. My satisfaction came not from shouting or confrontation, but from dismantling him quietly, piece by piece. The ordeal brought us closer. She realized I wasn't just her husband, I was her shield, someone who would never let anyone cross the line with her. And for me, seeing her safe and at peace was worth everything. As for her former boss, last I heard, no company was willing to take him on. His arrogance had been stripped away, his reputation left in ruins. And every time I remember that smug smirk of his, I can't help but smile, because in the end, I got my revenge. And I did it in a way he never saw coming.